So I've just made my Monster Hunter World It's Back video, and everything is great, and I was having a party with it, right? And you guys seem to love it. But then I found a comment talking about how Capcom has this current situation going on where people are upset that they have DRM software on their newest Resident Evil game, and that their stance has basically put DRM software on all of their past projects as well, including Monster Hunter. So here's what I have to say about it. Here's my 2 cents. First, I just want to talk about how Maximilian Dude, which the video will be linked down below, he made a great video talking about how he breaks down the DRM software that has been working with Capcom and their games for a long, long time. There's nothing new about DRM. Are you really that surprised that there's DRM stuff involved? Now, we're not talking about DRM like the Xbox One situation back in 2013 where you couldn't share games with a friend. We're talking per account as well. That was really bad. Whereas this is just basically preventing you from pirating games. One of the flip sides of that is that you also can't really mod the game either. And if you do mod, you could get flagged. Now, there's a lot to say about this. I actually really like Asmongold's take on it as well. I'll have his video down below too. You can check it out. And so the situation, from what it seems like, and it looks like the articles that basically started the whole shitstorm here, is that someone said that their DRM software got flagged as malware. So I don't know what antivirus it was, but it got flagged as malware. Everybody started freaking out, and everyone's complaining about how, oh, this is new, this is horrible, all this, right? This is following that apparently Chun-Li's character model had a nude mod made for it, and it was like publicly displayed somewhere. And then also too, this YouTube team was flagged for making content. I think it was Monster Hunter content with mods, and then so they have 2 copyright strikes on them right now, and Capcom is really going after them hard. And I think that this whole backlash, or this whole really, really harsh response, it's a little overboard, but are you really that surprised, right? So, being a business owner and being involved in multiple business ventures and all my freelance stuff that I've done in the past and what I'm currently doing, I've signed a lot of contracts. I've had to do a lot of stuff around copyright law and trademark law. And so I feel like I have a little bit of a unique perspective that maybe I could shed some light on the situation or give my 2 cents. And also, too, as well, I work with a Japanese company right now. So I can kind of tell you my experience about that and how maybe that also is what's adding into this whole situation, because they do things differently in different places. So first off, with this whole situation, you have to understand these companies, they all have to deal with compliance and making sure that everything is the way that it needs to be, that your company is showing up correctly, that your marketing materials are all saying the correct thing, that you're not misleading or you're not engaging in anything illegal or something that's going to make the company look bad and all this stuff, right? And so the compliance department is usually in charge of that. And so compliance would also be in charge of installing or choosing the DRM software that goes into games, I'm sure, all that stuff, right? And again, the reason why, and Max in the video below talks about the reason why the DRM is there is to prevent piracy. And that's very true, because people steal games. That's just the way it is. So they have to protect themselves. Also, modding tends to get caught up in that whole practice of avoiding the piracy. So it's a really messy situation. But in terms of the copyright and trademarks and Capcom wanting to protect their IP, Absolutely 100%. It's your IP. It needs to be protected. If your character is displayed as nude on a screen, especially over in Japan, right? It's a different culture there than, let's say, here in America, right here in the United States. They don't like that over there. And to be honest with you, they probably don't really like that here either. You know what I mean? And so, could you really, again, are you really surprised? So they want to protect their characters, they want to protect their IP, they want to protect all their trademarks and all these things. Also, too, that little terms and conditions before you start the game, have you ever read it? Because I don't really read them, but I bet that there's probably something in there talking about altering the game or modding it and displaying it. There's probably something in there telling you, hey, don't do this with our game. And so, again, Capcom wants to protect their characters. There's a lot of things that people do with character models, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend you don't. I know you do. Now, the thing is that again, hurts the brand. So, you can't let it hurt the brand. I can't blame Capcom for actually cracking down as hard as they are. Now, possibly ruining a YouTuber's career by destroying their channel, that's a little much. I think a nice warning would have been better. Again, not my company. I can't really say what to do and what can't you do, right? But that's how they responded. Okay. I can't blame them. So there's that, right? I know for my brands, like all my logos, all of my phrases, all these things, even the words, the designs, all of that is all trademarked, right? So there's a trademark on all of my stuff so that people can't really alter it or you can't steal my stuff. Same thing when I worked freelance. I've signed multiple NDAs, I've signed contracts, all these things, and it basically says in there, like, hey, if I do this contract, I can't speak poorly about the company. If I, like, publicly, I can't speak poorly about the company. I can't publicly discuss my pay. I can't publicly discuss what project it was. All these things, right? And that if I breach that contract, then, you know, they're gonna come after me for something, or they're gonna find me, or something like that, right? And so you have all of that stuff when it comes to copyrights, and I really can't blame a company for wanting to really stand by their product. It's kind of like Nintendo. Nintendo is really strict about their copyrights and trademarks. Their IPs are like their bread and butter. It's gold to them. It's their gold, right? So they're not going to let just anybody come in and start using their IPs or start degrading their IPs or anything like that, because that's their property. That's what it is. It's independent property. You know what I mean? It's their intellectual property. It's their thing. And so you have that. Also, too, my experience working with a Japanese company, I can tell you, the company I work for, well, not work for, but more so work with, they are very strict. Their marketing materials, how I can talk about what I do with them, what you can say, what you can't say, what you can display, what you can't display. They don't even allow you to really name them on a website that's not their official website. Like, if I even write their name, they don't like that. So it's very strict with them. And the Japanese, what I've learned, and anybody who, which again, I'm not saying I know Japanese culture, I'm not Japanese at all. The thing is that they make very in-depth plans. 100-year business plans. 500-year business plans. Things like that. Like, they have this incredible dedication to their business and what they do and their passion. They have a phrase, I believe it's pronounced ikigai, which is basically like like whatever your passion is. Like, it's like if you say that you want to make the best dumplings in Japan, right? They are like, they respect that. You know, like if I said I want to be the best poker player in Japan and I'm passionate and I want to be the best poker player. They respect that. It's just, it's part of their thing. So it's part of their culture. So for a Japanese company to come down this hard, I'm not surprised. And I do think that, you know, the modding community, obviously, I'm not a modder. I don't really like modding games. That's not me. I don't even really know how to do it, to be honest with you. But if they are innocent mods, right, where you are just changing the color of your character or changing the look of a monster, that's kind of harmless. It's kind of harmless, especially if you're doing it within your own game and maybe you're not putting it out there in the world. I could see that being really no problem. But then there are mods where you're cheating. Like you're getting, like for Monster Hunter World, like you can mod the game where you can get high-level decorations which are needed to basically get stronger and to fight the end game monster is like super tough, so you need these like crazy decorations, and so to get them it's a lot of grinding, it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of time. So people mod it to speed it up. Like that's the thing with speedrunners. They speed up and they use some mods to help them speed up their process. They make the monsters a little weaker so that they can get through faster. Is it cheating? Yeah, it is. It is. But if you do that to your game file, you shouldn't be able to play online. You know, you should not be able to play with other people if you have a mod on where you one-shot kill or one-hit kill a monster. That should not be allowed. And so I do stand by that, and I say, hey, if you are modding the game to get a leg up on players or to get a leg up in a situation or in an online game, you should not be allowed to do that. Like, that shouldn't work. Same thing though, right? If you have a graphic mod that maybe it changes the look of your character, maybe you play as Darth Vader. That's cool, right? The other characters who you're playing with, the other players, should not see your Darth Vader character. If they see your Darth Vader character on their screen, that's a problem. Why? It can alter the game. It could change the dynamic of the game. If it's only on your side and it's not going across the server to somebody else, then I don't necessarily have a problem with it, right? But even a graphical mod, like a graphical enhancement, if it's going to somebody else's game, then that's kind of an issue, right? And so these companies have DRM software installed. A lot of them do. I'm sure more of them than you think. And it's all about, again, just like what DRM means, digital rights management, okay? So Capcom is just trying to manage their IP. Honestly, I do think that whoever they really crack down on in terms of like YouTube channels and stuff and copyright strikes, just talking to Capcom and talking it out, I could see them totally maybe just calming down a little bit. But again, I just wanted to drop my 2 cents in. There are a lot of things with business that I think a lot of people don't think about. And I do think that the situation was a little bit mishandled, but I also think there's also a lot of misinformation out there. And whoever wrote that initial article to spark this whole fire, like Maximilian Dude says, and like Asmongold has figured out, and like I have as well from watching both of them, but also going and digging myself, I've found that, again, media companies wanted to probably start a little bit of a shitstorm. And they did. It worked. So, remember guys, don't always believe everything you read. Definitely dig into things, because it looks like the situation is becoming a little bit more clear. And so, I don't have any bad blood against Capcom. I mean, I'm enjoying their game, and I like playing their games, and I have in the past, here and there. So, you know, again, I don't really see a problem. I do think that they maybe overreacted, and I hope that they fix things with that YouTuber, but otherwise, I mean, I do think that we need to go and not be so emotional with the reaction, but to go and see what they're really, really looking to do. So, that's my 2 cents on the situation. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear about it. Comment down below. Let's talk. And until next time, see you later.